Assalamualaikum. Today I'm here with another board game review. Today I'll be telling you that why you should play The Quest for ElDorado, a classic Renier Kiniza deck building racing game which is set in the lost city of ElDorado. We are all adventurers on our way to find the lost city of ElDorado. So in this one, it combines very simple mechanism of deck building, and many people who don't even know what deck building means, they don't even have to understand. They can quite start playing this game as their first deck builder and never even realize what it means. So let's get to the table and then let me show you how this game works. We are the adventurers starting on the same spot, and we have to go all the way up to the city of ElDorado. The game comes with additional map tiles which can be combined in different ways to make different kind of layouts. The game rulebook does come with some suggestive maps that you can use, but you can make any kind of shape that you want, fit it on any kind of table, and even adjust the game length using this mechanism, because if you want a shorter game, maybe attach lesser number of tiles and suit it as best you need. So it is a very modular game. In between each of these tiles is going to be randomly placed another difficulty token, which does represent an additional difficulty to go from one area to the next area. But the end aim is that we all have to reach this end city of ElDorado to find the lost city of Z. Now we will all be starting from here, and as I have said before, that this is basically a deck building racing game. How that works is that each player is going to have the same kind of deck no matter who they are. So each player is going to get them, but they will be shuffling these and taking 4 cards in their hand. You will always play with these 4 cards, and the player aid is going to be in front of them, which is going to help you out with the turn phases, which are going to be very simple. With your hand of cards, what you can do is, well, of course, use any of them to move on the terrain. So for example, I have these 2 explorers, so I have a jungle in front of me which is showing a machete symbol. So green jungle, green card, so that means I can move 1+1 2 spaces on my turn on a jungle track. Or I can use an explorer, which is a golden card, to pay gold to the local tribes and move across their land as well. So that means I can move 1 space through the jungle, then using this traveler go to the next space, and then using my next green maybe move here. That's one of the options. The other option was that maybe I want to save this for something better, which I will come to, and I will have 2 explorers and I will just move 2 spaces through the jungle. Then I will not be able to, using an explorer only, I will not be able to go to the native people's area. And that's how the movement works. There will be ore cards using which I can travel through lakes. So these are the 3 terrain types, main terrain types that are going to be there. There are also going to be mountains which are impassable. The 4th terrain type here is these gray ones, which just means discard any kind of card. So the symbol is going to represent either discard 1 card or 2 cards, but it can be any card of your choice and you can pass through that. Sometimes as you move forward or go deeper, there are going to be more difficult terrain. So for example, if I was here and wanted to go through these are showing 2 machete symbols or 3 machete symbols. These are showing 3 ores. So these are more dense jungles or denser or difficult waters, and I need more powerful cards or a combination of cards just to move through 1 space of them. So that I have to consider while selecting which path I want to take. Another consideration in the path is going to be that I do want to hinder my opponent's movement through this jungle. How do I do that? Well, just like I showed you, that I prefer to use this and go here, because I know in the starting hand the probability of getting an ore card is going to be less. So this is going to be the central path, at least for these 2 players, or at least for the red player, because they have to go here. They wouldn't want to go all the way around through this difficult area. So this seems to be the shortest path. So if I'm standing here, then I'm kind of blocking their path and they will not be able to cross, and they have to go around it, which is wasting their cards more. So there is that kind of blocking the people as well, which is always a fun aspect. But if you don't use all of these cards, what's the second use going to be? Why do you not want to use all of your cards? For that, the second phase is going to be your buying new cards. So let's say I didn't use these two, I stopped here. So I have 2 coins right now. Any other card which I don't use, so these a coin symbol is made, but any other card is considered like half a coin. But the main currency in the game is going to be these golden cards. So these are your investors, your travelers that are traveling with you, and thus you have finances through them. I have 2 coins, and this is the market row. And through the market row, I'm going to be able to buy new cards, that is hire better crew, get better equipment, which is going to help me in the future turns. So for example, using my 2 coins, I buy this, a jack of all trade, a person who can be used as a machete, as an oarman, or as a coin. So either one of those I can use. So that seems like a good choice. And now I have used all my cards. They will go to my discard side. That's the discard. I'll pick up 4 new cards for my next turn, and that's the end of my turn. In similar fashion, the other player is now going to pick up their 4 cards, take their turn, accordingly try to move. I'm blocking them right now. Maybe they will try to move through here, whatever cards they are able to. If I want to stop at any time, not play all my cards, that's also an option. I will get to keep the card that I didn't play on my turn for my next round. So maybe I had 1 ore and I needed 2 ores to cross it. So maybe rather than wasting an ore as half a coin, I will keep the ore and I will keep waiting for my next hand of cards to get another ore and then pass through the terrain. So sometimes your turns might be just waiting until you get good cards to pass through a difficult terrain as well. Now, that's all there is in the game, at least the basic thing. So it's a very simple game. You pick your hand of cards, you play them using the symbols, you move them through the terrain, and each adventurer will be moving through it and then trying to reach ElDorado first. Whoever reaches ElDorado first is going to be the winner. But now you might be thinking, well, is that all? Well, no, that's the basic gist of the game. There are advanced things as well. For example, if you are standing, the mountains are impassable, but if you are standing next to a mountain, then you get to get some advantage or gain some resources through the caves that you have found in the mountain. So when you end your turn next to a mountain, you get to pick up one of these mountain tiles and keep it hidden until you want to use it. So this mountain, I was able to find enough resources that are going to enable me to travel 2 times through the ore symbols through the lakes. So I found that kind of, so I can keep it with myself, and later on once I need it, other than my cards, I can play this. There are different variety of these symbols that are available here, which are going to help me through difficult things. Not only are these symbols which match the terrain, but there are some special functions. Some let me pass through a person, that is, it allowed me some sneaking equipment. Some let me pick up 1 additional card, etc, etc. Then as soon as someone is able to cross a terrain, I talked about these additional difficulty when you are moving from one zone to the next zone. So there is 1 additional, and each of these are also going to have a symbol. So for example, an ore symbol is required to cross it. But why is it separate from the other board? Because the first person to cross it removes this hazard for everyone else, but they get to keep it. Why is this necessary? Is because in the end, once a player reaches the end, we will have to see that was there anyone who was also able to reach this end zone, which is quite possible in this game, who was also able to reach the end on the same end of round condition. So everyone is getting 1 more turn, complete the round, and at that time if someone else also reached that, then they are also legitimately allowed to be considered a winner. But at that time, the person who has removed the most hazards for every other player, by counting these sticks, that's the player who is going to be declared the winner. Then the only thing I have not discussed about is, on the terrain side at least, are these red zones. These are where you are going to cull your deck. What that means for people who don't understand deck building is that slowly you are going to build better and better cards in your hand. So for example, this explorer is good, but is it as good as this jack of all trades? No, because this lets me do anything. So if I'm getting this again and again on my turn, then that's going to be better for me. How do I do that? By removing this from my deck, and now my deck is less. So next time all my deck is finished, these are going to get shuffled again and then put in my draw pile, and I have a higher probability to draw the jack of all trades. That's how this works, that you can cull out or remove weaker members from your team and keep only the stronger members. But for that to happen, you have to come at one of these red zones where you are going to disembark one of your teammates from your expedition. Then when we are talking about teammates and buying from the market, in the market, the cards that are available below this zone are the ones that are available. So these are the starting cards that are going to be available for purchase. But these are better than the cards that are in our hands, but they are still medium level cards. There are still advanced cards which are not even accessible. These cards don't become accessible to the players because their expedition is still kind of weak and they are not interested in joining us until we show them that we have enough good teammates, our team is good, our expedition is going successful, so they will not be interested in joining us. How do you manage that? By buying completely or emptying out one of the areas here. So as these cards get picked up by other players, soon an area will be made available in the market deck, which is the time. So let's say I was the one who picked up the last card from this one, and now there is an empty space in the market. There is a demand now in the market for someone else to come in. The next player to me is going to be the one who has now a chance to pick any card from the advanced row. So you always have to balance out, ooh, should I pick up the last card or not? Because if I pick up, it gives the next player a chance that he's going to be able to buy the more advanced card. So there is always a risk reward situation. So they get to pick, but that doesn't mean that he's the only one who gets to pick. They just get the choice which type of card becomes available. So for example, if they select, for example, this ore guy, they look at the map and say, well, there is a lot of water on the map and we don't have enough water captains, sea captains in our team. Let's bring this guy in. He's going to, for 2 coins, he's going to allow me to roar 3 times. So he can travel 3 times through the water terrain. So he's really good captain. I'm going to buy this card. As soon as they buy this card comes here. They will get to keep that card in their deck. But now this captain becomes available to all other players as well. Now the market is full again. So now no other player can go back to the advanced market, but the basic market has one of these advanced cards, and now everyone can buy that card. So there is a choice element for the new next player, but then that card becomes available to everyone else as well. So of course there is a reward, but it comes with slight advantage, not too much advantage of choice. And that's how the game is going to work. So it's a very interesting game in which you will be playing cards to move around the board and then deciding who gets to win using a very simple deck building mechanism. My final opinion about this game is going to be overwhelmingly positive. The only thing I didn't like about this game were the artwork on these terrain tiles. The hexagon tiles with very solidified artwork looks very oldish, as the word might be more suited. I know there is a new version of this game with the Vincent Dutrait art. Vincent Dutrait is one of my favorite board game artists, but sadly that version is harder to find in English territories, so majority of the people are going to find this version of the game. This game plays good for 2 to 4 players, and the two-player side is going to slightly change the game, because how that two version game works is that every player is going to have two of their meeples on the board rather than four, because blocking is a great part of this game. So to enhance that in two players, what they have done is that each player gets two meeples and they have to both reach the end of ElDorado. So in the end, the game length, one might think, would be quicker for two players, because it's just my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn, and you would be reaching the end. But it's not quite like that, because both your meeples have to reach the end at the same time. So you have to play that many turns anyway for to claim being the winner. And one of your characters, if you're using only for blocking, you are still not going to win, because both your characters have to reach the end. So all the games are going to be very tight-necked in this one. The gameplay is very sharp. You will always feel the sense of competition. Players are going each close to each other, and everyone is looking at each other. Oh, he's trying to rush towards. Some players will be trying to build a better deck and build a better deck. The other person will be trying to go, okay, I don't have better deck, but I will keep moving every turn, and you will see them progressing slow. But someone with a better deck can rush through the jungle faster. So which strategy you go for? Maybe you want to be a balanced player. Maybe sometimes based on the terrain type, you have to think about the strategy to be changed. Sometimes being blocked changes your strategy as well. Then okay, now I will go through this side of the map rather than that side. All that is very fascinating. Sometimes when the market is going to change, then one type of card is going to give you advantage more than the other player, so you will prefer to bring that into the new market, because you know that they have already passed through, for example, the water terrain tiles, but my meeple is still stuck behind, my adventurer is still stuck behind the water area. So why not I bring the water captain now to the area, to the market, and that is going to only help me out more, or at least in majority help me out more. So those are the kind of decisions that you are going to face in this game, and those are always very fascinating. The luck draw of what comes in these mountain tiles is going to be very enjoyable as well. Ooh, what did the other person get? So should I, you will be trying to stop, well, this is the straight route, but if I do stop over this, I will just take a slight detour and stop over that mountain, because maybe I will get something good. But is the reward going to be better than losing one more movement point? Those are the kind of decisions that you will be going through. So decision wise, the game is a lovely piece of work that exists. I think this is one of the finest Renier Kiniza games. Yes, I love a lot of his games, but this will be in the top 5 Renier Kiniza games that I like. That's how much I like it, because it has that very simple deck building. I love deck building games, and this has that very simple layer that a person who doesn't know what deck building is, that is, you keep improving your deck over time and getting powerful actions over time, is what I like. Escalation in games. I don't want to start my game with, okay, these are the 4 kind of actions that I do, and these are the only 4 actions I end my game with. Those games are okay, but if you give me the ability that now my actions are improving over time, I like that sense of escalation in games. I feel the power in the games in that sense, and this game has that through that deck building mechanism, and that's why I love this racing game above many others, just because of that sense that I have much more control over what I want to do and how I want to win the race. So that is a very overwhelming positive review, and that is going to be my final verdict as well. It is for sure a great winner in my family. The only caveat, well, if you're looking for a true deck builder game, this isn't it. If you're looking for a pure racing game with cars or a different theme, then this isn't going to be it as well. It is somewhere in between, and it is a beautiful mixture in my mind. And If you like that opinion, then this game is going to be perfect for you. That's it for me. Happy gaming.